what words to share, what can be said. The world must wake up to Hamas and the monsters of Gaza. We have had enough of the lies, enough of the justifications, enough of the world's indifference to Jewish suffering. We are screaming, and yet far too many remain deaf to our cries. Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad are not just terrorist organizations. They are a cult of death, a monstrous force of Islamic extremism that reveals in the torture and slaughter of innocents the Palestinian Gazans who support and celebrate them, who danced in the streets as Jews were being butchered. They are not victims. They are willing participants in a culture of genocidal hatred. They kidnapped our families. They tortured our children. Palestinian Gazans brutalized and murdered the Bibas family, the boys, Kfir, just a baby, and Ariel, his little brother, tortured to death in ways too horrific to even report. Their mother, Shiri, was stolen from her family, from all of us, and instead of returning her body today, Hamas gave someone else's corpse. This is evil. This is inhumanity. The hostages who have been released have shared their horrific experiences, many who said that other hostages suffered even worse than they did and saw other Israeli victims being tortured and murdered in unspeakable ways. Where's the world? Where is your outrage? If these were any other children, their faces would be plastered on every screen. Their names would be shouted in every parliament. But for Jews, posters of our kidnapped children are torn down in New York, in London, in Paris, in Western cities across the world. The so-called human rights organizations refuse to even say their names, and instead the world makes excuses for Hamas, for Palestinian Islamic Jihad, for Gazan civilians, for the genocidal mobs that call for our destruction. To be Jewish in this time is to experience a crushing disappointment in the world. We see who stands with us. We see who does not. I see you. We all see you. History will remember the ones who stood silent as Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad committed unspeakable atrocities. History will remember the ones who justified terrorism. I will remember you. And to my fellow Jews, to our allies, we must do more. We are battling monsters, and we must rise to the fight. Enough hand-wringing, enough silence, enough diplomacy that leads to nowhere. We need action. We need louder voices. We need fearless advocacy. Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, Gazan civilians are not just attacking Israel with rockets and gunmen. They are waging psychological warfare, brutal torture, propaganda, misinformation, disinformation, inhumanity at a scale that so many in this world refuse to even acknowledge. And yet, even as we grieve, even as they return the bodies of our murdered hostages, the terror continues. Just today, bombs were placed on buses in Israel. A chilling reminder of the Palestinian terror that we know all too well. They want to break us. They want to terrorize us into submission. But hear me now. We will not be broken. We will not surrender. We will not let the world forget. And we will fight forward, as we always have. To our allies, be louder, be stronger, be unwavering. And to those who waver, to those who hesitate, choose now. You are either with us or you stand with the terrorists. There is no middle ground. And to those who stand with Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and to the Islamist terrorists, to those who cheer for the murder of our people, we see you. History will not absolve you, and neither will we. Am Yisrael Chai.